Shimnika, Sawadikap, Ni Hao, Salam Alaikum. Welcome to the International Leadership Conference, Asia Pacific, co-organized by the Universal Peace Federation and Parliamentarians Peace Council of Nepal, with the theme, Addressing the Critical Challenges of Our Time, the role of governments, civil society, and faith-based organizations. We are here at the country of Himalayas, Kathmandu, Nepal. Today is 28th day of July, 2016. Our chief guest, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, has already arrived in the venue and is now in the green room together with our distinguished guest on the dais. We would like to request Your Excellencies and our distinguished guest, when our chief guest enters, to please rise and give a resounding applause. And one more time, I would like to introduce, for our inaugural session, will be led to us by the chairman of the International Leadership Conference Organizing Committee, our Minister of Peace and Reconstruction, the Honorable Ignace Dakal. And now I would like to request everyone to please rise. Let's welcome our chief guest and our distinguished guest. Let us welcome our chief guest, the Right Honorable Prime Minister of Nepal, Right Honorable K.P. Oli. And together, let's welcome our distinguished fellow speakers on the dais. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Together with us is our Regional Chair of UPF Asia, Dr. Chong Sik Yong, our International President of Women's Federation for World Peace, Professor Yon Amun, former Speaker of House of Representatives of the Philippines, His Excellency Jose de Venecia Jr., former President of the Republic of Marshall Islands, His Excellency Kesai Note, former Prime Minister of Nepal, His Excellency Madhav Kumar Nepal, President of Universal Peace Federation International, Dr. Thomas Walsh, former President of the Republic of Kiribati, His Excellency Anodit Tong, Prime Minister of Nepal, one more time, let's give a round of applause, His Excellency K.P. Oli. And for this inaugural session, let's welcome our chairman for this session, the chairman of the International Leadership Conference 2016 Kathmandu, Nepal Organizing Committee. Let us welcome the Minister of Peace and Reconstruction of the Government of Nepal, Honorable Ignace Dakal.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am Eknath Dhakal, Chairman of the Organizing Committee of this International Leadership Conference 2016. It is my great honor and privilege to serve as the moderator of this inaugural session. First of all, I would like to welcome you all to the inaugural session of the International Leadership Conference with theme addressing the critical challenges of our time, the role of governments, civil society, and faith-based organizations, jointly organized by the Universal Peace Federation and the Parliamentarians' Peace Council, Nepal. The Ministry of Peace and Reconstruction is also hosting a special session at the ILC highlighting about Nepal's peace process. We express our gratitude to the co-founder of the Universal Peace Federation, Dr. Hak Jahan Moon, for her generous support to make this program possible. This session is being live broadcast by the Nepal television and News 24 television. I would like to also greet the millions of audience who are joining with us through television livecast. In this session, distinguished speakers will deal with the concerns about the current problems in our world today, with an emphasis on offering viable, even innovative solutions. The prominent personalities present here on the dais today will present their keynote speech within 7 minutes. Before proceeding to the session, I would like to recognize our esteemed dignitaries on the dais. First of all, I would like to recognize the Right Honorable Prime Minister of Nepal, His Excellency K.P. Sharma Oli, to take his seat as a chief guest. Together with him, his wife, Madam Radhika Sakhe. Please welcome. Similarly, I would like to request our keynote speakers to take their seat. Our keynote speakers at the inaugural sessions are His Excellency Onot Tong, the former President of the Republic of Kiribati. Please welcome. Next, His Excellency Kesai Note, the former President of the Republic of Marshall Islands. Please give warm welcome. Next, Honorable Paramananda Jha, former Vice President of Nepal. Please welcome. Next, His Excellency Madhav Kumar Nepal, former Prime Minister of Nepal. Please give warm welcome. Next, His Excellency Jose Devenesia Jr., former Speaker of the House of Representatives of the Philippines. Please give warm welcome. Next, from Korea, Professor N.A. Moon, the International President of Women's Federation for World Peace. Please give her warm welcome. Next, President of the Universal Peace Federation Worldwide, Dr. Thomas G. Walls. Please give him warm welcome. Next, the Regional Chair of UPF Asia, Dr. Chong Sik Yong. Please give warm welcome. Similarly, I would like to introduce other important dignitaries on the dais. Honorable Chandrani Bhadra, the Minister for Women and Children, the Government of Sri Lanka. Please give her a warm welcome. I think she's just arriving now. Honorable Dr. Ravindra Kumar Rai, former Union Minister and MP of Lok Sabha, India. Please give him a warm welcome. Similarly, Honorable Dok Kwang Bae, representing the Korean National Assembly. from Republic of Korea. Please give him warm welcome. Next, Honorable Siraj Muhammad Khan, Chairman of the Standing Committee on the Commerce from Pakistan Parliament. Please welcome. Next, Dr. Sri Bharya Shivamurthy Mahaswamiji from India. Please give him warm welcome. Next, Acharya Dr. Lokesh Muniji from India. Please give him warm welcome. Also, we have our special guest, our honorable ministers from the government of Nepal, Honorable Satyanarayan Mandal, the Minister for Youth and Sports, Honorable Santa Manabi, Minister for Livestock, Honorable Sherdan Rai, Minister for Information and Communication, Honorable Bishendra Paswan, Minister for Environment and Population. Please give them a warm welcome. Similarly, I'd like to recognize the presence of Honorable State Ministers, Assistant Ministers from host country Nepal and our friendly countries. Actually, we have many Assistant Ministers, Deputy Ministers are present here, not only from Nepal, but from various parts of the world. So I'd like to give warm welcome to all of you. Please also recognize the presence of the co-chair of the organizing committee, Honorable Dhanraj Gurung and Honorable Ravindra Adhikari. They really work hard to prepare this event. Similarly, I'd like to recognize our honorable members of the Legislature, Parliament of Nepal, and also the members of the Parliamentary and Peace Council. Please give warm welcome from the Member of Parliament from the host country, Nepal. Also, let us recognize our Chief Secretary of the Government and also Secretary General of the Parliament of Nepal. And similarly, we have also invited the head of constitutional bodies, and also we have here the Secretary General of SAARC, His Excellency Arjun Bahadur Karki. Along with him is diplomats from various embassies and diplomatic missions. Please give warm welcome to all excellencies who are participating with us today. Similarly, please allow me to welcome our esteemed religious leaders from many countries, our media personalities, representatives of government, the head of security forces, and the representatives of civil society. Now, I would like to recognize the participating countries and the delegates. Some of the delegates are still arriving tonight. Let me start with the alphabetic order of the participating countries. First, I'll start with our Member of Parliament from team from the Afghanistan. So please give warm welcome. Also, we have delegates from Austria, as I call the name of the country, so please give them warm welcome. Give warm welcome to Australia, Austria. Also from Bangladesh, we have 3 members of parliament participating from Bangladesh. Similarly, we have 2 MPs from Bhutan. Please give them warm welcome, the Kingdom of Bhutan. Also, we have 2 MPs from Cambodia. Please welcome them. Also, we have a MP from the People's Republic of China. So please welcome them. Similarly, we have 3 MPs and of course also Minister from the Republic of Fiji Island, led by Honorable Ro Temunu Kipa, Leader of Opposition. So please welcome. And also we have Assistant Minister for Youth and Sports, Honorable Lesa Delana from Fiji. Also we have delegates from Germany. Please warmly welcome. Similarly, we have large delegation from our neighbor country, the Republic of India. We have here His Excellency BP Singh, the 14th Governor of Sikkim. Actually, he's just arriving. I just met him outside. And also, we already introduced Honorable Dr. Ravindra Kumar Rai, the MP of Lok Sabha and former Union Minister, and many other MPs and MLAs and distinguished personalities from India. Please give them warm welcome. Also, we have a senator from Indonesia. Please give him warm welcome. Acharya Dr. Arya Wedakarna, the senator from Indonesia. We have also the MPs from Japan, led by the Senior Vice Minister for Economy, Trade and Industry, Honorable Emma Giwa. Actually, they are arriving tonight. So anyway, we can give them advance welcome. You may clap the hand. We also have the delegation from the Republic of Kiribati, led by former President, His Excellency Anote Tong, already introduced. We also have a delegation from Korean National Assembly. Please give them warm welcome. 2 members of Parliament from Korean National Assembly. Also, please welcome the delegation from Laos. We have delegation from the Myanmar. Please give them warm welcome. Similarly, we have big delegation from our friendly country, Malaysia, led by Honorable Johari Abdul. 16 members of Parliament. Please welcome them from Malaysia. We also have 2 delegates from Mongolia. Please give them warm welcome. They come all the way from Mongolia. We also have delegates from Marshall Island, led by His Excellency Kesai Note, already introduced. And of course, from host country, Nepal, all members of Parliament, please one more time, please rise and let us welcome also the member of Legislative Parliament of Nepal. We also have Senator from Palau, Honorable Jerilyn Udut Senior, and other members of delegation. Please welcome. We have 3 members of Parliament from Pakistan. Please welcome them. The Honorable Siraj Muhammad Khan and other members of Parliament from Pakistan. Warmly welcome. Similarly, we have also large delegation from the Republic of the Philippines, led by His Excellency Jose Devinesia, the former Speaker. And also we have 2 congressmen from Philippines. Please welcome them, the congressman from Philippines. We also have a delegation from Singapore. Please welcome them, delegation from Singapore. We also have delegation from Solomon Island. We have 2 members of Parliament, Honorable Ismail M. Yawi. Please welcome 2 of them. Similarly, we have a large delegation from Sri Lanka, led by Honorable Chandrani Bhadra, Minister for Women and Children, as well as we have 2 Deputy Ministers, Minister for Environment and Minister for Justice and Buddha Sasana. We have 17 MPs from Sri Lanka. Please give them warm welcome. Actually, they are also now arriving. They are checking in the hotel. We also have a delegation from Thailand, led by Honorable Tawan Sesenam, the former Deputy Minister for Home Affairs, and other members of Parliament from Kingdom of Thailand. Please welcome them. We also have delegates from Taiwan. Please welcome them. Delegates from Taiwan. We also have delegates from the United States of America. Please welcome them, starting with Dr. Thomas Walsh again, all the way from America. At last but not least, we have 3 members of Parliament from Vanuatu. Please welcome the member of Parliament from Vanuatu. Similarly, we have a Minister of Science and Technology, Honorable Shiva Lal Thapa. Please welcome him. Honorable Minister Shiva Lal Thapa. So what a great event. Whole world is now here in this room in Hyatt Hotel. We have participants from 30 friendly countries from all over the world, especially from Asia Pacific. So thank you, all of you, for coming. Now, please rise for the national anthem of Federal Democratic Republic of Nepal.
थुङ्गा फुलका हामी एउटै माला नेपाली सार्वभौम भई फैलिएका मेची महाकाली सयौं थुङ्गा फुलका हामी एउटै माला नेपाली सार्वभौम भई फैलिएका मेची महाकाली प्रकृतिका कोटि कोटि सम्पदाको आचल वीरहरूका राजधानी स्वतन्त्र अचल ज्ञान भूमि शान्ति भूमि तराई पहाड हिमाल अखण्ड यो प्यारो हाम्रो मातृभूमि नेपाल बहु जाति भाषा धर्म संस्कृति छन् विशाल अग्रगामी राष्ट्र हाम्रो जय जय नेपाल.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Next, I like to request the Right Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. K.P. Sharma Oli, to inaugurate this International Leadership Conference by lightening the lamp at the Panas. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Prime Minister. Please give one more time, big hand. Next, I would like to request Dr. Chong Sik Yong, Regional Chair of the Universal Peace Federation Asia, to present his welcome remarks.
Conference Chair, Honorable Eknath Thakur, Your Excellencies, Ministers, Parliamentarians, religious leaders, Ambassador for Peace, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, Namaste. Welcome to the International Leadership Conference for the Asia and Oceania regions. This historic event is co-hosted and sponsored by the Universal Peace Federation, the Parliamentarians' Peace Council of Nepal, and the Ministry of Peace and Reconstruction, the Government of Nepal. I have the honor to represent the founders of the Universal Peace Federation, Father and Mother Moon from Korea. Just before coming to Nepal, I personally met Mother Moon and she sends her warm regards for the success of this conference. In fact, our Mother Moon is so interested in this event that she asked for a live internet broadcast to be set up, and she will watch from Korea. Nepal was selected as the venue for this inter-regional peace conference because this nation is in the final stages of peacefully concluding a 10-year insurgency. With minimal support from outside, Nepal's peace process was led by Nepalese. And last year, they adopted a new constitution. Although some voices are calling for a amendment to this document, there is now legal mechanism in place for these changes to be implemented, and the stakeholders are committed to do this in a peaceful manner. Therefore, political leaders, lawmakers, and leaders of civil society from South Asia, Southeast Asia, Oceania, and East Asia were brought here to congratulate and encourage their Nepalese counterparts. We have come together as a community of nations, a family of nations, to learn from each other and to share best practices. In each of our respected countries, there are challenges to peace. Although these difficulties appear to be unique to each nation, the Universal Peace Federation believes conflicting and confusing values are at the root of all those problems. In his autobiography titled As a Peace-Loving Global Citizen, Father Moon clarifies this, saying, "The only philosophy that can prevent wars and open a path to a peaceful world is one that proclaims that humanity is one, transcendent of race, nationality, and religion," end quote. Therefore, we all must work together to solve these problems. However, legislators who write and enact laws have a unique and vital role to play. Together, we must find and embrace universally shared values in order to pursue our path of social harmony, mutual prosperity, and sustainable development. Thank you for taking time from your important responsibilities in order to be here. Your attendance has already made a valuable contribution to this conference, and I am sure you will learn and experience many things to take home. May God bless you and your nations Namaste. Thank you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yong, for your welcome remarks. Next, I would like to request Professor N.A. Moon, the International President of Women Federation for World Peace, the UN ECOSOC NGO, and special envoy of Mother Moon, to present her keynote remarks. Please give her a warm welcome.
Your Excellencies, distinguished participants in the International Leadership Conference, it is my honor to be with you today. Dr. Hak Ja Moon, who we know as a true mother, wanted to be with us today. She loves this country and feels a deep bond of heart with the people of Nepal. True Mother was heartbroken when the earthquake struck this country, causing so much suffering. She contributed $1 million in humanitarian assistance at that time. Although she could not be present for this conference, she asked that a live internet connection to be set up so she could watch the proceedings from start to finish. True Mother asked me to deliver her message on her behalf. This is a special honor for me. I will do my very best to convey the warmth and love that is in her heart. Now, I will read the keynote address of Dr. Hak Ja Moon, True Mother, and founder of the Universal Peace Federation. Your Excellencies, distinguished parliamentarians from throughout the Asia-Pacific region, honored participants in the International Leadership Conference of the Universal Peace Federation, ladies and gentlemen. I am pleased to address you today in Kathmandu, Nepal. I believe it is very significant that we have gathered here for this special session of UPF's International Leadership Conference and the launch in this region of the International Association of Parliamentarians for Peace. I am encouraged that parliamentarians have come together from not only Nepal, but from many other nations as well. My late husband, Reverend Dr. Sun Myung Moon, and I have always taught that individuals in every sector of society, including government, civil society, religion, business, academia, etc., have a responsibility to work to build a world of universal and lasting peace. This is especially true of parliamentarians. The parliament in any nation is the house of the people, a place where the voice of people may be heard and the public good advanced by democratically elected representatives, parliamentarians. Representative democracy is a noble tradition with roots that date back many centuries and now the most widely practiced form of governance. Although you have gathered here from nations around the world, you share a common appreciation and respect for serving as the representative of the people who elected you. You are servants of the people and, as such, are expected to serve the public good guided by basic principles of good governance, accountability, transparency, collegiality, inclusivity, and respect for human rights and the rule of law. Good governance is secured not only by the policies and laws of the political system. It is also necessary that those who hold positions of power be people of good character, guided by their conscience and universal moral principles. Good governance also depends upon a well-educated and morally responsible citizenry. It is for this reason that throughout history, religion has been an important factor in contributing to the moral and spiritual development of both the political leaders and the citizens. It is imperative that within modern democratic systems, we do not lose sight of God, our Creator and Heavenly Parent, nor of the spiritual principles and laws that have been taught throughout the ages. My husband and I have dedicated our lives exclusively to building a world of lasting peace. This has been our lifelong mission. We have always taught that peace is not merely an absence of violent conflict. Peace comes into being whenever relationships are characterized by harmony, balance, and mutual respect. Such relationships are created when we practice unselfishness, living for the sake of others. This is the essence of true love. True love is the essence of God, who created all things as our Heavenly Parent. We all have a nature that derives from our common origin. This is why we are capable of practicing true love toward one another and toward all things in the world around us. Our purpose and responsibility as the sons and daughters of God, our Heavenly Parent, is to become individuals of true love, with mind and body united. On this foundation, we can build marriages and families of true love as the foundation for the society and the nation, and in turn, we should care for the planet and all the form of life that make up our environment. If we fulfill this responsibility, we can establish a world of peace. My husband and I have applied this idea and the principle of living for the sake of others in every sector of society. We have always honored individuals who applied these principles in their sphere of professional life, appointing them as ambassadors for peace. Many parliamentarians around the world have been appointed as ambassadors for peace, and they work closely with the UPF and other affiliated organizations of our movement. In addition, I recently inaugurated the Sonak Peace Prize to honor individuals and organizations who have dedicated themselves to serving the well-being of others and future generations. The first Sonak Peace Prize was presented in August 2015, and the second prize will be awarded in February 2017. When I spoke at the United Nations in Vienna in May of 2015, I called for a spiritual awakening. The member states of the United Nations should not merely follow their national interests. Each member state should seek to serve the whole purpose, the larger purpose, looking beyond the national self-interest. When you observe the world from God's point of view, we see the world from a larger perspective. No matter what our field of endeavor, priest, parliamentarian, or professor, we should be committed to and guided by universal moral and spiritual principles. Whether we are the mayor of a small town, the pastor of a small church, or the president of a nation, or the secretary general of the UN, this is our eternal responsibility. This is the responsibility of each parliamentarian gathered here. In the year 2000, my husband and I spoke at the United Nations in New York, calling on the United Nations and the member states to consider an innovative proposal, namely that the United Nations build within its system an interfaith council considering of religious, spiritual, and moral leaders who could advise, collaborate, and deliberate with the representatives of the member states. Such a council could serve as a voice of universal values and principles. The UN emerged in the World War II era more than 70 years ago, whereas there are UN headquarters offices in New York, Geneva, Vienna, Nairobi. There is no such office in Asia, even though we are living increasingly in the Asia-Pacific age. In many ways, the geopolitical, economic, and social center of gravity of our world is shifting toward Asia. Within this in mind, UPF and other affiliated organizations of our movement are advocating for consideration a fifth United Nations office to be established in Korea. I hope you will reflect on this proposal. I believe a fifth UN office on the Korean Peninsula, perhaps in the DMZ, with the support of both Koreas, would go a long way toward establishing peace on this peninsula and toward peace in the Asia-Pacific region. Thank you very much. In closing, I want to emphasize the importance of the role of parliamentarians. You represent the people. You are entrusted by the people with a great responsibility. If parliamentarians of the world join together in harmony and cooperation for the sake of peace, we can transform the current reality of our world, creating a world of joy, harmony, and lasting peace. With this in mind, I encourage you on this day to form the International Association of Parliamentarians for Peace, centered on the principle of living for the sake of others and centered on God, our Heavenly Parent. You are the representatives of the 7.3 billion people of the world. If you join together in this way, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. Thank you very much. Let us work together to build a world of lasting peace. Thank you for allowing me to share these words with you today. May God bless each one of you, your family, and your nation. This concludes the keynote address by Dr. Hak Ja-moon. Namaste.
Let's give a big hand to Professor Moon for her keynote speech. Thank you very much. Next, I would like to request His Excellency Jose de Venecia Jr., the formal Speaker of the House of Representatives of the Philippines and the founding President of ICAP, to deliver his keynote speech. Please give warm welcome to His Excellency Jose de Venecia, the 5 times Speaker of the House of Representatives of the Philippines.
Thank you, Minister Eknath. Minister Eknath is the Minister for Peace and Reconciliation in Nepal, member of the cabinet. I think UPF and all the parliamentarians gathered here and leaders of civil society here should strive under the great leadership that sits on this table to preserve the historic coalition that has been established here in Nepal. Let me greet my good friend, former member of the board of directors of ICAP, friend of China and friend of India, and friend of peace-loving nations in the world, Prime Minister Oli. My other friend, who was founder of ICAP, which is now composed of 350 ruling, opposition, and independent political parties in Asia, Prime Minister Madhav Nepal, Madam Moon, whose family, whose mother, whose father are the great inspirations in this historic effort to bring about peace. And tomorrow we will launch the road to peace from Mount Everest, from Kathmandu, all the way across India and across Central Asia and into the lands of ISIS in Syria and Iraq and into Africa, so that we can finally achieve the dream that your father and the Universal Peace Federation and all the leaders of parliaments from Asia and around the world have dreamed about, finally, to bring about peace in Asia, peace in Africa, peace in America, peace in Latin America, and peace in the hearts of men. I am also very happy to note that with this partnership between political parties, parliaments, and civil society, we are forming in the next few days the International Association of Parliamentarians for Peace. I am honored and very pleased by this, because a few years ago we founded the International Association of Parliaments for Peace. Parliaments. Parliaments in Asia, parliaments in Latin America, parliaments in Africa. But is an association of parliaments. What we are forming today is an association of members of parliament, parliamentarians, and this historic alliance with leaders of civil society. Thanks to you, Dr. Walsh, and to the Universal Peace Federation for bringing about this marriage, this coalition, and this alliance of forces between parliaments, parliamentarians, and leaders of civil society. Congratulations. I had the privilege to form the International Association of Asian Parliaments for Peace, together with Prime Minister Li Peng of China and Prime Minister Ranariddh of Cambodia. And then we, in turn, converted it into the Asian Parliamentary Assembly, which is now composed of 42 parliaments, and I transferred the headquarters from Manila to Tehran in the hope that we could, by transferring the headquarters to Tehran, we could bring the Iranians closer to the center. Because I hate to say that the Europeans have created the European Parliament. The Africans have created the African Parliament. But Asia, the home of the great civilizations, the home of the great cultures, the home of the great historic religions, up to now, we don't have a single, united, comprehensive parliamentary organization for all of Asia, just like the European Parliament or the African Parliament or the legislature in Latin America. But by the initiative that we are taking today here in Kathmandu, here in the foothills of Mount Everest, I think we can finally ignite the atmosphere, ignite the formula for finally creating the long-awaited long awaited by our people, by nations, by our governments, from Tokyo to Turkey, from the South Pacific to the North Pacific. Up to now, we don't have an Asian parliament as such. And so this launching in the next 2 days of the International Association of Parliaments for Peace can perhaps trigger a new initiative, a new impetus for the nations of the world, with the parliamentarians of Asia who are here in full force, from Nepal, from Pakistan, from India, from China, from Taiwan, from the Philippines, from Indonesia, from Malaysia, with us come in full force. I think we should pass a united resolution today. Dr. Walsh, Mr. Prime Minister Oli, Mr. Prime Minister Madhav Nepal, Mr. Prime Minister Pachanga, my old friend, I think the time has come for us to set a deadline of 365 days with a resolution at the General Assembly, with that resolution here in Kathmandu, calling on governments, prime ministers, heads of political parties, heads of civil society organizations, to say that we want an Asian parliament, and we want it not later than the next 3 years. Do you agree?
Yes. Yes.
Then let's pass that resolution, act not.
Yes, Excellency.
I came here, Mr. Prime Minister Oli, on invitation of Dr. Walsh and UPF, because, as you know, I've been here 7, 8 times, contributing my small share to helping bring about this historic peace agreement in Nepal. You have made tremendous sacrifices. Madhav Nepal has made tremendous sacrifices. The Congress Party of Nepal has made tremendous sacrifices to bring about a government of national unity in Nepal. And I'm happy to say that after more than a decade of civil war, until the year 2006, with enormous sacrifice, loss of many innocent lives, and displacement of countless people throughout the nation, Nepal, yes, Nepal went through a complex political transition which ushered in a new era of democracy and a new democratic constitution. Congratulations, Nepal. For Nepal has made a historic 3-in-1 transition from war to peace, from monarchy to a democratic republic, and from a unitary to a federal system of government. Yes, major problems remain, but the historic threefold Nepalese transition marks a rare achievement in Asia and a model for our planet.
Yes.
Political leaders of Nepal, from the left, from the center, and from the right. As your friend from the Philippines, as chairman of the International Conference of Asian Political Parties, as founder of the Asian Parliamentary Assembly, and of the Centrist Democrats International, of which most of us are members and directors, I appeal to the people of Nepal that this great edifice, this historic constitutional coalition that you have brought about here in the foothills of Mount Everest, here on top of our planet, which has become a model for all of the human race, We must not allow a disturbance, a disruption of this great historic coalition, which has become a model for Filipinos, for Indians, for Pakistani, for Afghans, for the small island states of the Pacific represented here by these great presidents and prime ministers of the small islands who are now looking at you, Nepal, looking here into the subcontinent. You may rotate the political leadership among yourselves. This I concede. This I agree. This I support. But let us not destroy the political structure that created this incredible political coalition that you were able to establish here in Nepal through the sacrifices of the Nepalese people. At the end, it is the leaders of parliament, the members of parliament, the media, the social media, the business community, the civil society leaders who must see to it that this coalition, this historic alliance will endure. I know that making democracy, making the constitutional structure is a difficult process. But if our countries are to develop as bona fide democracies, we must be able to produce consensus out of disagreement and debate. And consensus is possible only when we agree on the fundamentals. As Singapore's Lee Kuan Yew points out, the working democracy needs the ballast, the steadying influence of the middle class, an open economy, a professional civil service, and a good basic education system. For if democracy is to mean anything to the lives of everyday people, democracy must have an economic component. And this economic component might in the beginning be more important than even political freedom. Excellencies, we are very disturbed that Oxfam, one of the great respected organizations in Europe and England, said that 60% of the wealth of the world is owned by 1% of the world. That 80 multi-billionaires of the world own more than 50% of the wealth of the world. This cannot stand. As we meet here today in the foothills of Mount Everest, this highest nation on earth called Nepal, as we launch the road to peace tomorrow, a road to peace that will go through the subcontinent, go through India and Pakistan to Central Asia, Kazakhstan, and into Belarus and into the Mediterranean, like the historic Silk Route of China. We must concentrate on how we can break this incredible gaps between rich and poor, how we can create a middle class. This is the task of governments, this is the task of parliaments, this is the task of leadership, this is the task of this conference. To take concrete steps to address this very real problem on our planet. How to defeat climate change. I see here Larry of the International Ecological Safety Collaborative Organization of Dr. Zhang, which is leading the movement in New York and in Beijing to win the battle against climate change, against environmental degradation. Poverty, climate change, and this battle that we must wage, the battle against extremism, against religious violence, the battle against those who are killing and killing and killing in the Middle East, in the Arab world, in Africa. Now they're moving into South Asia. Then they're moving into Southeast Asia. They're moving to the United States. They're moving to Europe and France. And they're moving to Switzerland. They're moving to Austria. And they're moving to Germany. And soon they will be moving into our direction. Watch the incredible killings that happened recently in Sri Lanka. I ask Eknath, Dr. Walsh, we must revive the Interfaith Council proposal that Reverend Moon pushed, that I spent 5 years of my life speaking in the United Nations General Assembly and in the Security Council to create an interfaith council. We were not able to succeed, but at least we were able to create a unit within the Office of the Security Council of the United Nations to create an interfaith unit so that we can bring about a meeting ground for Buddhists, for Muslims, for Christians, for Hindus, and the other great religions of the world. But the most difficult task now is how to bring these two powerful forces in Islam, the Sunnis and the Shiites. 5 years ago, I wrote a letter to the King of Saudi Arabia, who's my friend, and to the Prime Minister of Iran, to see how we can bring together the Sunnis and the Shiites by calling on them to meet together in Mecca, because both Iranians and Saudis respect Mecca and Medina, so that they can meet there, so that they can together, under the aegis of Islam, bring about a peace and reconciliation in the Islamic community, just like after 300, 400 years, the Christians and the Catholics in Ireland finally were able to achieve a unity of purpose. Excellencies, Eknath has been signaling to me that I have exceeded 7 minutes. I thought you told me 10 minutes.
You have 1 minute.
Let me say at the end that atrocities are committed in the name of religion. Yet we know that violence in the name of religion is contrary both to reason and to God's nature. There can be no religious motivation for violence, wherever violence may come from. So we must interpret our traditions to embrace pluralism in culture and pluralism in society. We must learn to create space for alternative faiths. After all, every great religion arose from the same wellspring of faith, accepting for its central belief God's direct and decisive intervention in human history by revealing himself to humankind. Lastly, we must accept that peace is much more than the absence of conflict. Excellencies, friends, ladies and gentlemen, we must take to heart the simple truth that peace is the community of sharing, that we all belong, as Reverend Moon said, that we all belong to one great human family under God. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Jose Debenesia Jr., please give him a big hand for his excellent, enlightening keynote speech. Next, I would like to request His Excellency Kesai Note, the former President of the Republic of Marshall Islands, for his keynote speech. Please give His Excellency a warm welcome.
Thank you so much. Excellencies, honorable participants, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I take this opportunity to reiterate once again my deep sense of respect and admiration to the late Father Moon and Mother Moon for their eternal vision to unify the religions of the world and the entire human race into one family under God, and for their passion and commitment to promote peace and prosperity throughout the world. I want to express my personal gratitude and appreciation to the government and people of Nepal for graciously hosting this important conference in this magnificent and historical city of Kathmandu. I must confess that I was profoundly overwhelmed by the warm welcome and hospitality accorded me upon my arrival. To the UPF, Dr. Walls, Dr. Young, and the faculty and administrators of the Universal Peace Federation, I thank you kindly for organizing this conference and for bringing all of us together to share experiences and ideas about the issues and challenges that we face in the world today. Before I proceed any further, I wish to declare my endorsement and support for the establishment of the Association of Parliamentarians for Peace in Asia and the Pacific, I should add. Such organization shall provide the venue and the opportunity for closer and more dynamic collaboration and consultation between parliamentarians in our regional part of the world, especially on critical issues that affect our life and our future generations. As parliamentarians and leaders of our respective governments and organizations, we gather here today in an effort to address the critical challenges of our time and to analyze the role of governments, civil societies, and faith-based organizations so that we can work together cooperatively to formulate an holistic approach to resolving the critical issues. I look at the agenda today and I said, what a formidable agenda we have before us today. Conversely, I feel so fortunate today that I may defer to my able colleagues from Oceania to elaborate more on the complex issues of climate change, sea level rise, sustainable economic development, sustainable energy, clean energy, health and education, poverty alleviation, the high rate of unemployment, youth problems, and even human trafficking, and so forth and so on. In my country, the Republic of the Marshall Islands, these challenges are compounded by our very limited natural resources, isolation, and the economy of scale, inadequate training of our labor force, the lack of modern basic infrastructure, and the ever-threatening legacy of the United States nuclear testing in our country during the late 40s and 50s. As a consequence of the nuclear testing program, the Marshallese population has the highest rate of thyroid cancer in the world. And for many of our families, their homes have been rendered unsafe for resettlement for many years to come as a result of the high concentration of radioactive materials. Of all the challenges that we face today, global warming, most particularly climate change and sea level rise, bring the most destruction to our fragile environment and our traditional way of life. Scientific measurement devices have confirmed that sea level in the Marshall Islands is rising at an alarming rate, and therefore our very existence as a people and our culture and heritage are constantly threatened. In fact, we may be the first of many to be known as the environmental refugees of the Pacific. The threat and destruction of climate change is so pervasive that I'm confident that our neighboring countries in the Pacific are also facing similar situations in terms of how it affects their environment, their lives, and their traditional heritage. In summary, these are some of the major issues that we are confronted with today. In order to find solutions to these problems, the government of the Marshall Islands, on a national level, and with the help of numerous civil society organizations' support, has developed a number of strategic plans that are currently being implemented to either minimize the impact or to eradicate these problems completely. In this endeavor, we have received technical, financial, and professional support from numerous regional and international organizations, as well as our traditional development partners. On a regional level, the Republic of the Marshall Islands is an active member of the Pacific Island Forum and its various groups agencies. As you may know, the forum is comprised of all the independent and semi-independent countries in the Pacific. And the forum, through its specialized agencies, has created various plans and guidelines to deal with these problems. On the international level, of course, like other countries that are represented here today, the Republic of the Marshall Islands has been actively involved in numerous agencies of the United Nations that are directly dealing with challenges and issues that affect our life today. We have also participated in and supported various international and regional non-governmental organizations that have been established to address these challenges of our time. One of the most important accomplishments of all these deliberations is the so-called Paris Agreement on Climate Warming, previously known as the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, or the Kyoto Protocol. The Paris Agreement encompasses a broad range of steps and opportunities for actions on sustainable developments, climate change, as well as socio-economic issues. For our situation, the most important outcome of all this is the creation of funding sources for our small island countries by establishing the Global Green Funds in addition to other sources. These funds enable and empower us to begin to address our needs for conservation, restoration, and rebuilding of our communities. In addition, the United Nations, as we all know, has established a set of development targets known as the Millennium Development Goals. The focus of the Millennium Development Goals is geared toward economic and social developments and to improve living standards for our citizens. These are just some of the steps that have been taken on national, regional, and international levels in our common goal to address the issues and challenges that we face in our world today. I want to close by reminding my parliamentarians and lawmakers here today of our most important responsibility to ensure that our national governments do comply and implement various regional and international protocols and agreements that have been established to save our lives and our planet. And with that, I thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency Kesai Note, the formal President of the Republic of Marshall Islands. One more time, please give the big hand. Thank you very much. Next, I would like to request His Excellency Madhav Kumar Nepal, former Prime Minister of Nepal, for his keynote remarks. Please give him warm welcome, former Prime Minister Madhav Kumar Nepal.
Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Minister Eknath Dhakal, Chief Guest of this program, Right Honorable, the Prime Minister of Nepal, Mr. K.P. Sharma Oli, distinguished guests on the dais, ladies and gentlemen. I feel immense pleasure to be here with you in this significant inaugural session of the conference on the theme, addressing the critical challenges of our time, the role of governments, civil society, and faith-based organizations. I believe the grandeur of this evening has been signified in your most important presence. I would like to felicitate the entire guests from home and abroad at this juncture in Kathmandu, the capital city of Nepal. I hope your arrival, stay, and as a whole the visit of Nepal would be memorable. I feel pleased to know such international leadership conference is going to be organized in all the regions of the globe, one after another. It is a matter of pride for we Nepali people that Nepal has been chosen as a venue for this international leadership conference for this Asia-Pacific region, which has drawn big number of dignitaries from almost all countries of Asia-Pacific region. I have my fond memory of meeting with Father and Mother Moon, who has spread the message of peace all over the world. Since long, the endeavors made by UPF for the benefit of global humanity, meaningful peace, and sustainable development are commendable. I congratulate you all for the good works done by UPF. I hope your good works will benefit for the promotion of peace in Nepal and Asia-Pacific region. I would like to thank and appreciate the role played by ICAP under the leadership of Honorable Joseph Venetia Jr., who has played a very important role during the peace process in Nepal, and also the UPF in assisting and facilitating the peace process in Nepal. I do not need to elaborate on the development of political process in Nepal because it was very beautifully elaborated by my dear old friend and founding father of ICAP, Jose de Venecia Jr. I would like to share with my pleasure that after a prolonged period, Constitution of Republic of Nepal is finally promulgated, ending centuries-old feudal monarchy and ushered into a new era from long process of democratic transition. Now we have arrived at a point from where social transformation and rapid economic development can take place. For this, it is necessary to effectively implement the new constitution. Only then we can also make rapid progress and make a place among other rapidly developing economies of Asia. Our two giant neighbors, China and India, are on the way to become economic superpowers, leaving far behind their past history of developing nations. We can benefit from those two huge markets and those two big countries if we take the right direction for economic development. Ladies and gentlemen, regarding the critical challenges of our time and the role of government, civil society, and other organizations, I would like to emphasize on the fact that they all can play a harmonious role in nation building. For this, they all need to be sincere and diligent. So far as political front is concerned, it is now high time to mitigate conflicts and polarization and instead dedicate all our efforts for the alleviation of poverty through rapid growth. If everyone thinks of for self-interest, acts accordingly, and extends lip service only, country cannot make any progress. It is not a matter of criticism to any entity, but an outcome of a half-century's bitter experience. Unless we march ahead with honesty, sincerity, neither a government nor the nation can move forward. It is right time to vow for the advancement with self-realization, for the betterment of a nation, lest the whole destiny rotates around revolving chair, enlisting entries and exit of leadership only, and inviting more instability in the country. Participatory governing system, good governance, and national consensus in wide sense are indispensable for the promotion of nation, but we are far left behind to forge even a common minimum policy for national security, foreign policy, and solid guiding principle for state governance. And good governance at an appropriate national policy paper should have been adopted for good governance, corruption control, and similar melodies. So far our promises have been, visions are not been translated into practice. Missions are incomplete, and objectives are in distance to be achieved. I would like to call upon all to do sincere self-assessment, and let's stop repeating the same shortcomings. Distinguished dignitaries, in today's globalized world, Nepal cannot insulate herself from what is happening around the world. While we learn from the other countries in the development process, we must see to it that our development is sustainable. In fact, the errors committed by big nations in making lopsided development resulting in rapid climate change has made serious impacts to the Himalayan countries like us more than any other countries. I would like to recall a cabinet meeting that has been held at the base camp of the Mount Everest in December 2009. That cabinet meeting was organized at the place that is called Black Boulder, that is Kala Patthar, to give a message that the negative impact of climate change has been seen at the high mountains. Glaciers are disappearing. Glacier lakes are now being emerged, and there is the danger of devastation. So we must not repeat the errors committed by the West. At the same time, it is the duty of the developed countries to help poor nations like us in mitigating the impact of climate change on the poor people of this region. At last, but not the least, I would like to express my thanks to you all, for giving me the opportunity to share my views. I am fully confident that this grand meeting held on the lap of Mount Everest and the land of Buddha's birthplace may contribute for everlasting global humanitarian affinity, sustainable peace, and promotion of transnational cooperation and solidarity for the cause of justice, equity, and prosperity. The charm of this international gathering will be ever refreshing on our memories in the days to come. I wish you all, your stay in Nepal may remain momentous, cozy, and comfortable. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, former Prime Minister Madhav Kumar Nepal. One more time, please give big hand for his keynote address. We are at the International Leadership Conference 2016, the capital city of Nepal, Kathmandu. Our program is being live broadcast by Nepal Television and News 24. So before address by His Excellency Prime Minister, we have two more keynote speeches. And after this inaugural session, it will be followed by entertainment. First, we have invited our national singer, Miss Indira Joshi. She will sing one song for us, and then it will be followed by a magical performance by the Korean Little Angels. So next, I would like to request Dr. Thomas G. Walsh, the International President of Universal Peace Federation, to deliver his keynote remarks. Please welcome Dr. Walsh.
Namaste, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Prime Minister, Excellencies, all protocols observed. I'm closer to the microphone. It's a great pleasure to be once again in Kathmandu, in the great nation of Nepal. And as the Honorable Eknath Dekal introduced so many delegates, it was overwhelming in a very uplifting and encouraging and positive way. This is truly a convention of leaders from throughout the Asia-Pacific region. And as we've listened to the speakers who came before, we've been charged with a variety of tasks and opportunities that lie ahead. And I think in particular of Professor Yonar Moon, who really gave a wonderful presentation of the magnificent message of True Mother, Dr. Hak Jahan Moon. It really was a precious words, and we hope, Professor Moon, you will convey to Mother Moon our deep appreciation for her message. And indeed, Dr. Yong, Honorable Eknath, I hope we can make copies of that available to all of the participants, because it's packed with very rich and important content. It really outlines the essence of our purpose here. You know, Mother Moon came here with her late husband, Reverend Dr. Sun Myung Moon, in 2005 to launch the Universal Peace Federation on their global tour to 120 nations in 120 days. Each day, they moved to a different nation, and they came here and delivered a very powerful message. And in many ways, Honorable Eknath, I think we mark that as in some ways the beginning of our UPF South Asia Peace Initiative. Yes. And over these 10 years, it has been one of the key partners and catalysts for contributing to the peace process of this great country, just as Speaker Devenicia expressed so eloquently. Mother Moon returned here in 2006, again on another speaking tour throughout all of the world, and came again to this great nation of Nepal. So this is a very important center for UPF's work. As Dr. Chungshik Yong mentioned, he was recently in Korea, and I had the good fortune to be there as well. And in the strategic planning for the Universal Peace Federation, the Women's Federation for World Peace, and the Family Federation for World Peace, among all the nations where we have representation in over 150 nations around the world, I have to say Nepal is really one of the key nations, as well as quite a number of nations from the Asia Pacific and UPF Asia region. I also acknowledge that along with our UPF Asia region, the important delegations from our Oceania region, we have two exemplary representatives, as already heard from the Honorable Kesai Note, the Marshall Islands. He hosted Father and Mother Moon in 2002 and was reminiscing with us about going fishing with Father Moon and catching marlin and other fish of the fishing waters around the Republic of the Marshall Islands. The speaker who will follow me, so I want to conclude my remarks as soon as possible, is President Note of the South Pacific nation of Kiribati. And he is really one of the foremost experts in the area of climate change, and one of its strongest advocates and its most eloquent spokespersons. He was the recipient of the inaugural Sunhak Peace Prize that Mother Moon launched and initiated in 2015. Professor Moon, in reading True Mother's speech, made reference to that, but President Tong was its recipient. I want to mention that this Asia-Pacific ILC is the launch of a series of regional and interregional ILCs. We will move from the land of Mount Everest and the Himalayas to the land of Burkina Faso in Africa in a short time, Ouagadougou, and all of the nations of West Africa and the Francophone nations and their parliamentarians will gather. From there, we will go on to Lusaka, Zambia, for the nations of East Africa for a regional international leadership conference. In September, the International Leadership Conference will be convened in the United Kingdom in London, where delegations from throughout Europe, and the Middle East, and all of Eurasia will gather. Then on to Central America and South America in October and November, and concluding with a major gathering in Washington, D.C. in the United States. And the key components of this International Leadership Conference, which were really outlined for us by Mother Moon, are the launch of the Association of Parliamentarians for Peace, as was discussed, and we'll hear much more about that 2 days from now when we have our special session to launch the International Association of Parliamentarians for Peace. It will also feature the launch of the Peace Road Initiative, which was an idea that Reverend Moon spoke of in the year 1981 at an international conference on the unity of the sciences, where he gathered many Nobel laureates and academicians in all the fields of the sciences. And his speech in Seoul, Korea, was to advocate for an international peace highway that connected the whole entire planet, including across the Bering Strait with a bridge and tunnel project. So the whole world would be connected with a highway that was a zone of peace throughout the whole entire world. So we are carrying on with that initiative through the Peace Road project. In addition, as has already been referred to by Prime Minister Nepal, we are giving serious attention to climate change. I believe President Tong will speak to that matter. It's a critical aspect. In her message that read by Professor Moon, Mother Moon spoke of the issue of our personal development, mind and body unity, of strengthening marriage and family, and building a good community, society, and nation through good governance, but also the critical aspect of our relationship with our natural environment and preventing environmental problems and climate change. So that's one of the critical issues. And the other that was addressed very emphatically by Speaker Deminisi is the problem of the rise of extremism that is often expressed through some forms of religious extremism, but also we see evidence of growing nationalistic tendencies that are moving away from this vision and ideal that we are one global human family, all of one origin from our Heavenly Parent. So we will be addressing these issues, focusing on innovative solutions, how we can collaborate, work together in solidarity, in dialogue, learn from one another, build partnerships. That's why the theme talks about how can faith-based organizations, those with spiritual ideals, work together with civil society organizations and NGOs, non-governmental organizations, together with representatives of the government sector, the private sector, academia, etc. How can we all work together to build a world of lasting peace? I believe we're going to have a fantastic conference together. We've really begun with a beautiful opening, and we have more to come. We had a great visit this morning with the President and Vice President of the great nation of Nepal. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm honored to be in your presence and to share the dais with these distinguished guests. I conclude once again, Professor Moon, please, when you return to Korea, give our sincere love and appreciation to Mother Moon for really convening us and initiating and guiding this wonderful conference. Thank you for allowing me a few moments to speak to you. Namaste.
Thank you very much, the President of Universal Peace Federation International, Dr. Thomas Walsh. Let us give him a big hand for his keynote address. Before inviting the next keynote speaker, I would like to recognize some eminent personalities on the dais. Actually, I recognize them, but that time they were not present here. They are still coming from the airport. So I'd like to recognize the presence of the 14th Governor of Sikkim, India, His Excellency B.P. Singh. Please give him warm welcome, His Excellency B.P. Singh. Similarly, Honorable Chandrani Bhandara, the Minister for Women and Children from our friendly country, Sri Lanka. Please give a warm welcome. Sri Lanka. Similarly, we have Acharya Dr. Lokesh, Swamiji from India. Please give him also warm welcome. Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to request His Excellency Anot Tong, the former President of the Republic of Kiribati, to deliver his keynote remarks. Please give warm welcome, former President, His Excellency Anot Tong.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me acknowledge His Excellency the Prime Minister and all of you who are here, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. In my language, we say, Kamnamur, meaning, may you all be blessed. I'm, of course, extremely delighted to be here, joining like-minded leaders and crusaders for peace who have come all from different parts of the world to attend this historical International Leadership Conference for Peace. Let me say I'm extremely honored to be here, and also as a recipient of the inaugural prize, Sunak Peace Prize, I'm extremely delighted and especially delighted to be here to speak on an issue that concerns us all here. Secondly, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate our gracious host, the government and the people of Nepal, for hosting us, for having received us on arrival, and for having the ceremony that we enjoyed this morning with the President and the Vice President, as well as the courtesies that continue to be extended to us during our stay. Thank you very much indeed. Let me also take this opportunity to express our profound appreciation to the Universal Peace Federation for putting it all together, allowing us the opportunity to come to talk about an issue that is so vital for our future survival. And of course, I would also like to acknowledge each and every one of us here today. We have come here to join hands to try and find a way to solve the issues, the critical challenges that we face as a global community, from our respective societies, from our respective different perspectives and viewpoints. We are all here, coming from different backgrounds, with all the diversity. And it is my sincere hope that we will come here to try and address this issue, not despite our differences, but because of our differences, to try and find out what those differences are, and try to find common ground in the midst of all that difference. Ladies and gentlemen, the question that we ask ourselves, that certainly I did ask myself, is why Nepal? A number of speakers have already said that. We're at a very critical stage in the political and the constitutional development of this nation. And we are very fortunate to be here to witness what is happening here in this country. But in addition to that, let me take you back a little. Over 1 year ago, in April of 2015, Nepal was hit by an earthquake said to be the worst that has ever hit this region. I'm sure we watched as the events unfolded, stunned by the unbridled forces of nature taking their tragic toll on the innocent lives of people, including women, children. Nature once again asserting its dominance over all. I take this opportunity, and I'm sure we all join, in extending our deepest condolences for the loss of lives and the destruction that Nepal suffered during that catastrophe. But ladies and gentlemen, as drastic as that incident was, it clearly highlighted at least 2 points in my view. Firstly, that we, in our own individual countries, in our own different regions, we as a global community have more than our fair share of challenges from natural events such as was experienced here in this tranquil, highly spiritual, and extremely beautiful country. We, in our part of the world in the Pacific, experienced the extreme weather events, the violent storms, in Cyclone Winston, which struck Fiji and wreaked extreme destruction. In Cyclone Pam, which struck Vanuatu and closer by islands, including Tuvalu and Kiribati. We are used to our southern neighbors being victims to these storm events. But we on the equator have never, ever, to our knowledge, experienced these weather conditions. And this is a change. The changes in the weather pattern poses a new threat for our people. The second point, which I believe was highlighted here in what happened here in Nepal, raises what I believe to be the moral question. How have we responded as neighbors, as fellow human beings with the capacity to respond, as nations, or indeed as a global community? How effective or how compassionate have we come to the assistance of those who have been subjected to these cataclysmic events? Could we have done better, been more effective? These are the questions. These are the moral questions which may hound us, may hound our conscience over what we did or failed to do in our past events. But I can assure you, there will be the questions and the challenges that we will have to face as further future events, similar events, unfold into the future. For those of you who, like me, have come to Nepal for the first time, you will no doubt agree that moving on 1 year after the earthquake, that a great deal more needs to be done in rebuilding the lives of those who were affected by that disaster. I am extremely saddened to learn that the impacts of the disaster are more severe in the countryside, where whole villages and homes remain broken and shattered in spite of the efforts being undertaken by the government of Nepal to address the matter. We are extremely grateful for the contribution of the international community, which no doubt contributed significantly to the recovery efforts. But ladies and gentlemen, it is a sad reality that the focus of international attention, the focus of our attention on events like this, seem to wane soon after they no longer remain as headlines in the news. And with it, the flow of much-needed resources for reconstruction efforts. Yet, and this is the saddest part of it, yet as a global community, we continue to see huge amounts of resources being directed into conflict, into areas of conflict, to inflict the very same kind of destruction to economies and to the lives of people, which we are trying to recover from due to natural disasters. We do not need any more of these conflicts to add to the challenges we also already face from these natural disasters. And the message that Nepal reminds us of today is, as long as we as a global community continue to underestimate the significance of peace as an indispensable component of development, our efforts to recover, our efforts to achieve our development goals, sustainable development goals, and to recover from any adversity will always be difficult. Ladies and gentlemen, as someone who has been involved in a campaign to focus international attention to addressing the challenges of climate change, I draw some rather interesting and somewhat disturbing lessons from what has happened here in Nepal following the earthquake. I ask the question, Will the global community be able to rise to the challenge and act in time to avert the impending disaster that is surely coming due to climate change? The historic Paris Agreement reached at the end of last year was a resounding success in international diplomacy. And even though it has been signed by a number of countries earlier this year, it will remain a piece of paper unless we can deliver concrete outcomes on the ground. Outcomes that will ensure the survival of all nations. Outcomes that will ensure that cultures are preserved and that those whose future is on the line can be guaranteed a future. One of the questions which keeps going through my mind, and no doubt many of you will have the same experience, is the question, will what happened in Paris, maybe something I would call the madness in Paris, pass? And will those leaders who agreed and who made a commitment and the pledges in Paris renege on those commitments? That is the question that I will continue to ask. And I have no doubt many of you will do the same. And a further question, what does the future hold for those countries on the front line of the climate change challenge? Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to believe that the passing madness of Paris was in reality an awakening of our moral consciousness, a realization that this war that we have waged in the name of development against nature over the past century, but especially in more recent decades, was a reality, in reality, the destruction of this very planet, the very host without which we have no hope of surviving. It is a war that we will never win, and it is a war that we will all lose. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to believe that when the time comes, we as a global community will deliver the necessary relief for the sake of our future generations. We need to be able to declare peace on nature. We need to declare peace on each other. Ladies and gentlemen, may peace be with you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Honored Tong, the formal President of the Republic of Kiribati. Let's give big hand to His Excellency, formal President. Next, I would like to request Right Honorable Prime Minister K.P. Sharma Oli to deliver keynote address, the chief guest address. Please join with me to welcome our Prime Minister, His Excellency K.P. Sharma Oli.
Mr. Chairman of the program, distinguished and esteemed friends from different countries, speakers, and members of parliament and delegates from so many countries, and my fellow ministers and member of parliaments from Nepal, and ladies and gentlemen present here. Today, in fact, it is a great pleasure for me to be here in this inaugural session of the 3-day conference, Leadership Building Conference. And tomorrow and day after tomorrow, 2 days, the participants of the conference will discuss on the subject addressing the critical challenges of our time. The role of governments, civil society, and faith-based organizations The topics of the conference addressing the critical challenges of our time, I think, is a very serious and important question which we have to resolve. We have to answer. And I believe that with your deliberations in this conference, the conclusions of the conference will give an appropriate and concrete way out, like a prescription to the government and to the civil society and for all to face the challenges of our time. I believe that this conference will be a conference of great success. I would like to welcome Nepal and Kathmandu, not only in this conference, but in Kathmandu, to all foreign delegates, member of parliaments, and distinguished friends from 29 countries all over the world, from east to west, from Japan to USA. I believe this trip of this time to Kathmandu will be, of course, memorable, fruitful, and I believe that your stay in Kathmandu also will be a comfortable one, and you will enjoy the beauty of Kathmandu and Himalayas if the weather permits you to see the mountains. But I believe that 2 days more you will be engaged here in the conference. And after that, weather will be clear. You will make mountain flights and you will enjoy, I believe. Anyway, I would like to thank Mr. Dakal and his organization and Universal Peace Federation for selecting Kathmandu, Nepal, the venue for this conference. Because we are in a very complicated type of transitional phase, and at the last stage of transitional phase, we have some perhaps more challenges than others, because we are in transitional phase. Within transition, we are in a transitional phase. Transition within transition. Now you can understand there is transition. And we are in problems, one after another, even today. I am not with so fresh mind because of very continuous heavy rain and floods and landslide in these days, 2 or 3 days, within 2 or 3 days. Perhaps nearly 100 people lost their lives. And so many people, thousands of people have become homeless. Their houses are destroyed because of flood and landslide. Last year, there was a devastating earthquake, and we were very badly suffered. And now the reconstruction works are going very fastly. We are now trying to accelerate the pace of reconstruction work. Last year, after a long time, we were able to promulgate the Constitution, and that from the Constituent Assembly. First Constituent Assembly was failed without promulgating the Constitution. The tenure of 4 years was passed without giving the Constitution. And again, from the second Constituent Assembly, we promulgated the Constitution last year. And this is like a milestone in the Nepalese history. Now, we have institutionalized the fruits of our struggle, the achievements of the past, the fruits of the sacrifices we made in the past, and our rights and opportunities are institutionalized and documented by the Constituent Assembly declaring the Constitution. Now we are in last stage of the transitional phase. We have to implement the Constitution. We have very limited time. We cannot waste the time. Within certain time, next year, about it will be February or like this, we have to complete local bodies elections, and we have to complete the federal structure and the elections of the federal structures, and similarly, the parliament, election of the parliament, House of Representatives, we have to complete within about 15, 16 months or like this. And we have no time to waste. We are engaged on such things. Nepalese people are hopeful. Nepalese people have self-confidence, and they have taken the correct way. They have promulgated the Constitution, and they will implement the Constitution. They will organize the elections in time, and nation will complete the transitional phase within time, and Nepal will go ahead. And the critical challenges of our time. What are the critical challenges of our time? Poverty. And we have to elevate the poverty. We have to work together. We have to do some concrete steps. As the Prime Minister of Nepal, when I elected last year, I started a campaign of development, economic development. There are so many aspects and dimensions of the campaign I started for faster development. I'm satisfied that within a short period of time, we did something, and really Nepal now has entered into a new stage has reached in a new height. And now it will go ahead. We have to alleviate poverty. We have to create job opportunity in different aspects, different fields of economic areas and development. We have to work with concrete plans and policies, and we are doing that. We have problems with multi-dimension. Not only poverty is the challenge of our time, but climate change, that is another problem. And unrest, conflicts are another area of problem. Terrorism is another global problem. How we can address those challenges? The problems are multifold, multidimensional, and similarly we have to give attention and make policies and implement and work. At the same time, we cannot ignore this or that area, but we have to give stress and importance on all areas at the same time with policies, programs, and we have to work together. The importance of this conference is that we are here in one place. I believe, our commitment is common. We want to make a peaceful, prosperous and happy world. This is our common agenda, common aspiration, common goal, and I believe common commitment. This is our common commitment. This conference I believe will draw clear conclusions on all these questions. What is the meaning of unrest? Natural calamity is something different. We have to mitigate the challenges or mitigate the dangers or possibilities of natural calamities or such natural phenomena. But that is not exact unrest. Unrest is created by human beings against the human beings. That's pity in this 21st century. In this civilized society, we say that we are civilized. But what we are doing today, who is destroying the peace? Human beings? People of the earth, of this earth, or from somewhere, from other stars, other planets, or from where? People of this planet, we are destroying the peace. So there must be a common commitment to really change the world in a civilized one, in a just world, in a world where human beings in each other, nations in each other, societies in each other, groupings in each other can live together with harmonic relations, friendship, and cooperation. If we do so, if we act like that, there will be no problems, no reason. But the factory interest and interest of the strongers are the problems. And are we ready to give up unjust interest? If we are, then there will be no problem. If we don't want to impose, there is no problem. And we have topics of faith-based organizations, their role. In my opinion, faith-based organizations must work for harmonic relations, friendly relations, peaceful and relation of coexistence and cooperation, and supporting each other within the different faiths, different communities, different cultures, different religions. We can respect each other's faiths, and we can tolerate differences. If we tolerate differences, if we respect others, cultures and their faiths, there will be no problem. So we have to work to strengthen unity, harmony, friendship between the faiths, between the communities. And we have to contribute for those areas. Similarly, civil society, different organizations, and mainly the political areas. Some days before, addressing in the Parliament of Nepal and my parliament, I told that here in Kathmandu was a holy river, namely Bagmati. I said that Bagmati is not dirty itself. Bagmati is very sacred. But we are making Bagmati a dirty one. So if we don't make dirty, a river is clean. Mainly, not at the top of the tree, but in the roots. We must find out the causes, and we have to correct from the beginning, from the base, from the foundation, from the basement. Anyway, I heard very important deliberations and keynotes from different friends, keynote speakers. I would like to thank all friends, and we got opportunity to listen this very important experience, friends from different countries who have contributed a lot in their places. And from there, for all of us, because everybody can work, can be in one place and work from one place. But the impact of the work, it goes around like rays of the sun. My friends, old friends too, like Venetia and others are here. I'm very happy to getting this opportunity, and I would like to thank Hyatt for the organizations providing me this opportunity to meet my friends, to listen their deliberations, and meet you all in this very important international leadership conference. I believe that this conference will be a conference of success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Prime Minister, for enlightening and encouraging address. So one more time, please give big hand to our Prime Minister, His Excellency K.P. Sharma Oli. We are now close to the end of our inaugural session. Once more, I would like to offer our sincere gratitude to our Prime Minister, all keynote speakers, and our esteemed guests this afternoon. I would like to request our VIPs on the dais to move to the front row of the floor so that we can watch Little Angels' performance more comfortably. Before the Little Angels' performance, we have invited a very popular Nepalese singer, Miss Indira Joshi, to offer a congratulatory song. So, in a few minutes, so I'll welcome her on the stage. So thank you for allowing me to serve as a moderator of this inaugural session. Dinner will be followed by the Little Angels performance. So this is the end of the formal program of inaugural session. So before I close the inaugural session, so I'd like to recognize the Honorable Milan Kumari Rajbangshi, who is one of the most hard-working MP of the Peace Council, together with other Peace Council members, who really make this event success. Similarly, the Executive Director, Mr. Santosh Paudel, and also Secretary General, Mr. Binod Dagi. They are the ones who work day and night to prepare this event. Similarly, our media coordinator, former DIG, Gyanendra Bikram Mahat. One more time, let's give big hand to all of these hard-working leaders. So in a few minutes, so you will enjoy the Little Angels performance. Before this, so please welcome Miss Indira Joshi, the national singer from Nepal. So after the clear stage, so she will come on the stage. Okay, let us welcome our national singer, Miss Indira Joshi.
Hello everyone, namaskar, all the distinguished personals we have today around the world. You know, there's an energy that brought us all together here in Hyatt. Can you guess what that energy is? It's the energy of love. Of course, the existence is itself love, so today I want to sing about love. We all have our own meaning of love, but I think nobody can do without love. So, love of Romeo, Juliet, love to the moon, love to the sky, love to the trees and everything. So today my song is about love. Hope you'll enjoy it. Thank you. Thank you. Just the way Juliet was in love with Romeo. Just the way Juliet was in love with Romeo. You're like the rain in the desert, or land to sea. You roam my thoughts, you live inside me, baby. I'm so into you. Is the purest form of energy. You're my lucky charm, my sunshine. My heart speaks to me. You're my only man, my only man. I'm bound to listen. I'm bound to listen. I can't deny. And breeze kisses the yellow palm. You're like the birds in the woods, moon in the sky. You touch me deep, you take me high, baby. I'm meant for you. You're all that I have. I love you. Just the way Juliet was in love with Romeo. Just the way Juliet was in love with Romeo. Just the way the silly Juliet was in love with Romeo. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our national singer. Let's give a round of applause, Miss Indira Joshi. And now, we're going to have the photo opportunity. we would like to invite our cameramen to please be on stage. And we would like to request all our participants to please give your best smile. We're going to have a photo shoot this time. So our official camera, please be on stage. We would like to request to switch on the light from the back side, please. Let's increase the light. Let's brighten the back side. We need more light, please. Can we have a little bit light from the back side? All right. Okay. Let's wave our hands, please. Let's wave our hands. Thank you. Thank you very much. And now to introduce the Little Angels Children's Folk Ballet of Korea. Help me to welcome the Master of Ceremony, Miss Sugarika Casey, Miss Nepal 2005.
Namaskar, good evening, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the premiere performance of the Little Angels of Korea in this eminent gathering of regional ILC Asia. My name is Sugarika Casey and I have the great honor of being your MC for this particular performance. The performance is about to begin, but then I have some house rules to mention here. I request you to refrain from taking pictures with the flashes during the performance as it can obscure the vision of the performer. However, you may take pictures without the flashes. Out of respect to others around you, please turn off your mobile phones or set them on vibration mode. Thank you very much for your understanding and cooperation. This moment, we have all joined to witness the spectacle beauty that is the Little Angels of Korea. The Little Angels are dedicated and spirited young ladies who range in age from 8 to 15 years, who have been specially selected and meticulously trained in the Korean folk art. Since their founding 54 years ago, the Little Angels have performed on more than 7,000 stages in 60 nations, as a result of their 70 world tours and the pure-hearted representations of Korean music and dance, the Little Angels have come to internationally quite famous as Korean cultural ambassadors. From 2010 to 2012, to commemorate the 60th anniversary of the Korean War, the Little Angels Children Folk Ballet of Korea toured the 22 UN member nations that sent troops or medical units to Korean War. This purpose was to comfort and thank the veterans and the families for their many sacrifices. Back in 2011, the Little Angels performed first time in Nepal in a wonderful compliment to the Nepal Tourism Year 2011, when we were dedicating ourselves to peace, constitution, and reconciliation. And this year, they have come all the way again with the strong message of peace and goodwill to Nepal. Now, it is time to sit back and enjoy the magnificent performance from the Little Angels, the tiny ambassadors of peace. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them an exciting Nepalese welcome and honor.
महिला तथा सजमवृन्द नमस्ते। मेरो नाम 우형은 हो। म रिटरेन्जेसको एक सदस्य हो। म तपाईहरूलाई धेरै मन पराउँछु। तपाईहरू मलाई मन पराउनुहुन्छ? नेपाल देश धेरै राम्रो छ। हामीहरू नेपाललाई धेरै माया गर्छौँ। तपाईहरूको उच्च हिमालयलाई पनि माया गर्छौँ। नेपाल र कोरिया बीच गहिरो मित्रता छ। आशा छ तपाईहरू हाम्रो छोरालाई मन पराउनुहुन्छ। कृपया तालीले साथ दिनुहोला। हुन्छ? धन्यवाद।
The first dance was Buchechum, fan dance. Our next dance is Chonyo Chonggak, springtime. Traditionally, when spring comes to Korea, one can find the girls spending their days in the fields, picking wildflowers, the boys going to the hillsides to gather firewood. Frequently, they have been known to meet in the countryside, which was blanketed with warm sunshine as gentle winds played about. One would find the youth laughing and dancing together, caught up in the joyous spirit of spring in the making. Ladies and gentlemen, Chonyo Chonggak, springtime. Our next dance is Bukchum, the drum dance. The drum has been a part of the Korean way of life for centuries. The sound of pounding drums invokes excitement and joy. The drum was a morale builder in ancient wars, while at the same time it also arouses jubilation during celebrations of bumper crops in farm villages throughout Korea. The Little Angels drum dance has become the symbol of modern-day dynamic Korea. Now you will see the Little Angels' precision drum dance as your heart beats with its rhythm. Ladies and gentlemen, Bukchum, drum dance. Finally, the little angels reveal their broad talent by joining together as a chorus. Keeping time to the accompaniment of the conductor, the company members breathe and sing together as one. Their repertory includes beautiful songs of Korea and the world. While expressing their desire for the unity of the world, the little angels create lovely harmony and their own particular sound color. Ladies and gentlemen, as the final part of the program, we present the Little Angels Chorus.
감사합니다. धन्यवाद.
Hello. We still have some more announcements to make. Please kindly take your seats for 30 seconds, I guess. Weren't the little angels wonderful? Let's have one more round of applause to really show our appreciation towards these wonderful and extremely talented performers. Distinguished guests, we extend our sincere gratitude for accepting the invitation and participating in this August gathering. This brings us to the end of the program. However, we humbly request all of you, all the participants, to join in the launching of Peace Road, which is happening tomorrow 8:30 a.m. on the parking area of Hyatt Regency. And we thank you very much for your participation, and we kindly request you to join the dinner served outside. Thank you very much. Good night.